Hey YouTubers, Christopher Wanamaker here doing a new updated video for my 21st century relationship advice and improvement video. And pretty much before I get started into the different subjects and details that I want to cover, I need to make it abundantly clear about one specific thing. I am 36 years old, going on 37 at the end of this August of 2022. So 2.5 months away, I'll be 37. And pretty much my entire life, entire adult life, I have been single. I have met people, I have hooked up. I've met people who I was hoping to, have a serious relationship with, and it would, hopefully it would go further and get more serious, but it didn't. People just wanted to, hook up and have fun and have no strings attached fun, or maybe they were interested and wanted a serious relationship, but they were too either needy or too picky, or because I'm very different from a lot of other men. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a smoker. I'm not a partier. I'm not a clubber. I'm not a gambler. I don't follow any sporting events. I'm not massively religious. I believe in God and have faith, but I don't follow any specific religion. So I don't go to church and everything. I'm not a bar hopper. I'm not a clubber. I'm not a partier. And all that kind of stuff. So anybody that's like really heavy into drinking, partying, clubbing, bar hopping, smoking, I'm not the type of person who gets massively jealous. So this whole thing where oh, you're with me now, and you're my man, and you can't talk to and hang out with other female friends, even if you know them since middle school or high school or whatever. I'm getting massively jealous, or I get jealous because maybe I have a digital picture frame with old friends and family members, or even maybe some modeling celebrities on my digital picture frame, on the kitchen counter and everything. Or they try to give me ultimatums and stuff, and I won't tolerate that crap. So I definitely have learned to, from my own family, I try to stay away from people who have heavy smoking, heavy drinking, and drugs problems. My mom was a bad alcoholic growing up, so I learned what I was willing to tolerate and not tolerate, and what I was willing to put up with and not put up with. Someone who's too needy, too controlling, too manipulative, playing games, too heavy into partying and drinking and bar hopping and clubs and or going to sporting events and being addicted to sports and being really addicted to anything really major. Other For me, the only major addiction I think I have is a thrill-seeking adventure, world travel, and food. So and emergency preparedness stuff. I'm really into emergency preparedness, but other than that, it's like you gotta learn to believe in yourself. You got to learn to love yourself and be okay with yourself, and not learn to, if you're not happy with yourself and okay with yourself, then jumping in a relationship to put that pressure onto somebody else is, not a good idea. To, like, oh, you in my life now are gonna, fulfill me and complete me and all that kind of stuff. That it just will most likely end in massive heartache and disaster. So, I've learned to, believe in myself, love myself first, be fully independent, fully self sufficient, where if I want you in my life, then it's because I care about you. I want you, but I don't absolutely desperately need you. I don't really need anybody. I can do absolutely everything all on my own, and I'm completely okay with it because I'm so used to it. So, last time I had a significant other, I was a freshman in high school, and that lasted for about a year and a half relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend. But I haven't had a serious one since then. So, why am I saying all this? Well, because I want to make it perfectly clear, because I've gotten comments about this. How can you talk about these things if pretty much, you haven't had a serious relationship with a woman since you were a freshman in high school? Well, the way I look at it is, I've been an observer of, like a scientist. I've been a watcher, listener, and observer of people, of humanity, of personalities, and I've traveled the world for, pretty much over 15 years. I did 13 and a quarter years in the Army. I did a year in Baghdad, Iraq, and was shot out with rockets and mortars. I did a year in Afghanistan near the Pakistan border. and was shot out with rockets and mortars. And then I did a 3 month humanitarian mission to Liberia, Africa, helping out with the Ebola effort, a humanitarian mission at the end of 2014, beginning of 2015 for 3 months. So, and I think ahead, and I have done pretty much everything by myself. And I've traveled through 45 of the 50 United States so far, 3 of the 4 Hawaiian Islands, Alberta, BC, Canada. I was stationed in Germany for my first 2 years of active duty. Went all over Germany, went to Amsterdam in 2008. Been to Kazakhstan as well. Been to Kuwait for about 2 whole months worth. I've been one of the Virgin Islands for a whole week. I've been around the world, so I've met a lot of different people, a lot of different cultures, thousands of, the different couples that I've met, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, parents, single parents, or husband and wife, or full family, husband and wife with kids. So I've listened, I've watched, I've observed, I've asked questions, and what does a woman do that drives the man nuts? What does the man do that drives the woman nuts? What do they pretty much tell each other? What do they say behind each other's back? How dishonest are they to each other? Do they actually open up and tell each other the truth? Do they actually treat each other like, a true egalitarian equalness and fairness? A best friend kind of relationship, or is it more like an authoritarian, parent slash child relationship dynamic between those two adults in a relationship? So I've listened and watched and observed all of this. That's why I'm talking about these upcoming subjects. So I want to make it perfectly clear that I am not a subject matter expert in the field of being in a serious relationship and knowing this stuff from the experiences of being in a relationship. I'm talking from a observationist, observer, my own personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions of what is right and what is wrong, how we treat each other in relationship dynamics nowadays. What I've learned from others that was good choices and bad choices, and maybe how we need to change our relationship dynamic mindset, especially here in America. So what I've learned, it really started, my idea started coming to me when in my 7th semester of college at WSUV, Washington State University, Vancouver, Salmon Creek, Vancouver, Washington. And pretty much I took 2 specific classes, which was a family interactions and a family diversity class in my 7th semester. I just got done with my 9th semester on May 7th of 2022. I got one more semester to go starting at the end of August to a little bit before Christmas. About a week before Christmas, I should graduate with a bachelor's degree if I pass my last 5 classes this last coming semester. So with these classes that I took in my 7th semester, I learned a hell of a lot on top of, like I said, observing a lot of other people from around the world. So between classroom education and personal world traveling education and experiences, that's where I've gotten a lot of my personal opinions and knowledge and thoughts and feelings on this subject. So I want to make that perfectly clear that I don't know all this stuff from personal experiences of being in a serious relationship for a long time or being married or all that kind of stuff. I'm talking it from observing, listening, and learning. So there's that. One of the very first things that I learned in these classes was this whole thing started out in pretty much over in Europe, before America, colonists came over and populated it, and America was formed. It started over in Europe and China and Africa and all that. And whether it be for hundreds of years or thousands of years, most relationships back in the day were more authoritarian types of relationships, which is more like, not all of them are like this, but the majority of them, especially here in America, are, in my opinion, of abuse and neglect, and domestic violence, manipulation, ultimatums, control. Say one thing, do another, which is one of my biggest pet peeves. And pretty much we're just, it's almost like a parent slash child relationship dynamic. One of them is the authoritarian person, and the other person is the obedient servant slave almost. Even though we got rid of slavery like 200 years ago, I don't really think we actually got rid of it. Instead of just owning a human being, we more like, oh, I can't own this human being, so instead I'm going to take my significant other, and if I'm not going to treat her like an equal to me and a friend and a partner, then I'm going to, try to manipulate, try to gaslight, try to control, try to threaten, and almost like if I got whether a bracelet or a headband or a necklace that was a mind control device, and I can use my smartphone to almost like control a robotic human being, and like a cyborg or something, and pretty much they look at who I want them to look at, they dress how I want them to dress, they speak how I want them to speak, they say these exact words, they do whatever I want, go wherever I want them to go. They're at a specific, place at a specific time. Let me just remote control them from my smartphone. A lot of the authoritarian people pretty much think like that. You're going to do it my way or the highway. This is where you should be. This is what you should be doing. This is how you should talk to people. These are the people that you should be hanging out with and should not be hanging out with. This is what you should be wearing and not wearing at different events and different points in time. You should be doing these kind of jobs and not these kind of jobs. So very authoritarian, my way or the highway, can't be any other way, even though it could be a million other ways. So, but in America, according to a lot of news reports, textbooks, surveys, and all that, here in America, in Europe, authoritarian relationships are very, very big. And then, a man and woman have each very specific roles. But here in America, pretty much since the 1980s, it has been drastically changing. And it's a very slug pace. But since, pretty much probably since smartphones came out, since about 2010 to now, then it's really been rapidly changing, especially with same-sex marriages being more and more okay, with transgender stuff, and all that, more equalness rights for women. Just past several years, the military has gotten rid of the "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" policy. We've allowed women into military combat jobs, special forces, rangers, infantry, all that, which I think is great. In my personal opinion, we should have done that a long time ago. Women should have been fighting with men all the way back in the Revolutionary War when America was being formed. Why we didn't allow it, I don't quite understand. To me, men and women are truly equal to one another. Pretty much to me, where men are weak, women are strong. Where women are weak, men are strong. We balance each other out. You can't have one without the other. So why don't we start treating each other like true equals? So that's the problem. And so when it comes to this authoritarian meets egalitarian is more equalness and fairness across the board. Treat your partner like a fully equal partner. Everything that I know in the relationship, especially once you move in together, it's like every account, every bill, every process of how we run our household, everything that I know and I can do, the woman should be able to know and do as well. We should be helping each other. We should be boosting each other up. We should be benefiting each other. It should be pretty much, down and dirty. The woman is the salt, the man is the pepper, and so whatever, each of them should be 100%. They should believe in themselves. They should care about themselves. They should be able to be, if one goes away or passes away or dies or gets seriously sick, the other should be able to run the household just like the other parent did. They should know the accounts, account numbers, the amount of money in there. They should have access. It's almost like a military family when first the man, woman, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, are in the household. Oh, the veteran, usually the man or the woman nowadays. One of them's getting ready to deploy. Well, that means that whoever's getting left behind, let's just say the man is the veteran, the woman is the mother, the civilian, Well, everything that the man knew or knows, or how he does certain things at the household in the family, now he's taking off, and now the wife, the civilian, needs to take on the roles of both of both parents, of both adults. Everything the male veteran knew, the female civilian needs to know and take on the roles if they have kids of both mom and dad. So, and that's what happens until the dad comes back from the deployment, 9 months, a year, whatever, and then he gets back into the groove of more normal civilian life and everything. So that's how it should be. Each parent, before you get in a serious relationship, you need to believe in yourself. You need to feel 100% whole and complete, and you really shouldn't be jumping into a serious relationship until you feel whole and complete, until you believe in yourself, until you know you're okay with being single and on your own, but yet you're still happy and fulfilled. So it should be 100%, 100% from each of them. They come together. They're now 200%. They better each other. They're more fulfilled. They're happier. They feel fully complete. But if something happens and they break up and they separate, they go their own separate ways, they each should still be 100%. That's what I believe, my personal belief. So, but unfortunately, here in America, when it comes to authoritarian relationships, um, you know, it's more about we should go towards more partnership, not ownership, and that's the problem with authoritarian relationships. It's more ownership. It's you are my woman. You're my significant other. You can't do this. You can't do that because I don't want you to. I don't like it. I feel uncomfortable with it. Say freaking wham. Suck it up and get over it. Because even if you are the authoritarian, the man of the house, or whatever, and uh, uh, you don't have the right to order around your significant other. Whether you make 50% of the income, 75% of the income, or 99% of the income, or all 100%, you don't have the right to tell a grown ass human being, man or woman, that's 18 or over what they can or cannot do. And that's my personal opinion. All you shouldn't have to ask for permission from either partner, either direction. Man shouldn't have to ask the woman. Woman shouldn't have to ask the man when it comes to, can I go do this? Can I go do that? Can I hang out with this person? Can I talk to that person? Can I wear this? Can I work there or do this for work or that for work or go here, go there or whatever? You shouldn't have to ask your significant other if you're in a truly healthy, good, loving, caring, real, egalitarian partnership relationship. You shouldn't have to ask for each other's permission. All you should have to do is inform the other, hey, honey, I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm going to go work here, I'm going to go work there. Not, hey, honey, is it okay if I go work here and work there and wear this and do that and hang out with this person and that person, especially if they're of the opposite sex? No, you shouldn't have to ask for each other's permission. You should just keep each other well informed. That's it. So, um, so something I really believe deeply in is when it comes to whether you're an authoritarian or egalitarian relationship, it's pretty much how do you really know? Well, are you have to ask permission? Are you being ordered around? Is the authoritarian threatening you, gaslighting you, trying to manipulate you, control you, being violent to you? Is there abuse, mental, emotional, verbal, physical, sexual abuse? But I'm all about equalness and fairness. Something that I deeply believe in, it's because of the military. Something that they really instilled into me was the 7 Army values. And if I remember them correctly in order, leadership, um, oh, leadership, leadership, no, sorry, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. And when you stack those words on top of each other, the first letters of those words off to the side is LDR ship, leadership, a shortened version of it. And so, one of the biggest ones to me, I think I'm on top three, would be honor, integrity, and respect. Well, the definition of respect is treat others as you want to be treated. That is the very definition. So, what does that mean to me? Well, that means if you're good to me, I'm good to you. If you help me, I help you. If you're there for me, I'm there for you. If you went above and beyond for me, I go above and beyond for you. If you give a gift to me and are there for like my birthday or Christmas or whatever, I'm going to do the same for you. But a lot of people think that it's just positive. No, it's for negative as well. Equalness and fairness across the board, eye for an eye. If you hurt me, I hurt you. You lie to me, I lie to you. You betray me, I betray you. You screw me over, I screw you over. You take advantage of me, I take advantage of you. You steal from me, and somehow I'm going to steal back. So, it's pretty much eye for an eye. A lot of people would say to me, well, Chris, have you never heard of what two wrongs don't make a right? Yeah, I've heard that term, and and I do believe in it. But what they don't realize is it's that saying is two sides of the same coin. So just to give an example, if this right little thing here was a coin, that saying is one side, but there's another side of the coin. And so what I believe is if you are trying to be a person who wants to take the moral high ground, then yes, two wrongs do not make a right. Take that moral high ground. When I was younger, I did the same thing. But as I got older and put up with people's crap, and people have hurt me and taken advantage of me and lied to me and betrayed me and said one thing and done another and stole from me, then it was more about equalness and fairness. So on the other side of the coin, I believe two wrongs do make a right because two wrongs do make things equal and fair across the board. It's eye for an eye. So it's, if you do good to me and are there for me, I'm going to do the same thing for you. But if you hurt me or screw me over or betray me or steal from me, then I'm going to do the same thing to you because that's equalness and fairness across the board, which to me is the very definition of respect. So, that's an important thing to me. We need to get to, a time frame where there's pretty much no gender roles. And that's one of the big problems is when there are, authoritarian relationship, when it's more like parent and child relationship dynamic between the two adults in that family or relationship. It's pretty much, there's usually gender roles. It's the man does specific things, the woman does specific things. Well, we need to do away with that. We need true egalitarian partnership is equalness and fairness. Whatever the man can do, the woman can do. Whatever the woman can do, the man can do. Except for there's very few specific things, of course, that woman can do that a man can't. Pretty much, breastfeed, give birth, and things like that. And we should honor them for that as well. And not also be not offended by when a mother is breastfeeding her children. It's a natural thing. So stop whining about that. That's another thing actually when it comes to Americans, when it comes versus Europeans. I mean, compared to them, I've been to Germany. I've been to nude spas, nude beaches. So this whole thing that Americans are so uptight with getting naked, and even though we were born that way and stuff, or maybe a religious person on a beach sees women wearing a two-piece instead of a one-piece, and showing more skin, or even a micro string bikini from Brazil, or maybe pasties on their nipples or whatever. And I'm like, we came into this world naked. We weren't born and come out of our mothers with clothes on, so why is everybody up in roar? Stop whining about, a natural thing. Stop crying like a little fucking 4-year-old. And it drives me nuts. And I would stand up for someone if I witnessed that. So, oh, yeah, once you turn 18, you definitely don't need someone's permission anymore. You don't need your significant others. Don't give up your power. Don't give up your control. Don't give up your voice, and of what you can and cannot do. You know, to me, you know, you should fight. Everybody, yes, in America we have freedom, but a lot of people don't actually stand up and fight for it. So you should not be giving up your rights, your voice, your beliefs, your thought process, and what you can and cannot do to any other human being on this earth. Do not give up your rights. But also, I believe if you're not willing to stand up and fight for your rights, speak up, speak your truth, not hold it inside in order to just keep the peace with your significant other, not communicating properly, not telling the truth. I'm a type of person where I have really no filter. I have discipline to hold my tongue when I need to, but when I need to tell you straight up what I'm really thinking and really feeling, I'm not going to give a crap about your thoughts, feelings, and opinions, and do I hurt them. If we're all grown-ups, especially once you get into your 30s, you need to start acting like a grown-up and just listen and hear it and take it, and then, do you change? And, change has to come within. Someone can't change you. It's more of you have to choose to change. So listen to them. But if you're not willing to fight for your rights and your beliefs and your voice and your feelings, then personally I don't think you really deserve to have any freedom. you know you have to be willing to fight. One thing I've definitely learned being a veteran and going to war: freedom has never ever been free. It requires sweat, blood, tears, and sacrifice. If that means you got to break up the family, you go move somewhere else, you gotta go your own way. You've got to, you've maybe been in a relationship for a long time and you realized that you're no longer head over heels in love with this person, then you need to go your own separate way. It's very difficult, it's very tough, I understand that, especially when it comes to very specific pattern that I've seen with human beings, with men and women in a relationship nowadays. Usually what breaks up the family, especially if you get into a relationship at a young age. If it was up to me, no one would get into a very serious relationship, live together, start having kids, get married until you're at least 30 years old. Why? Because from 18 to 30, you really don't know who you are. You don't know what you believe. You don't know what your political beliefs, your religious beliefs. You haven't seen much of the world. You haven't pushed yourself. You haven't gone and done a bunch of jobs and try to figure out a career. You haven't possibly, fully finished college. You should be staying single, meeting people, dating a little bit, not getting super serious, going into the workforce, getting jobs, creating a career of some form, getting a degree, and then maybe a career, traveling the world, pushing yourself, trying new things, meet new people, go check out new cultures, and then from your 30 to 40 time frame, you should start getting in a serious relationship, have kids, start a family, move into a house, and start calming down a little bit more and all that, starting a family. So one thing that I've noticed is what breaks up a lot of families. It's the couple are together. One of them is pretty much staying about the same the whole time from 18 to, let's say, like 35, while the other one is growing and changing and changing and changing and changing. And so that breaks up a family because one person stayed the same, and that might be 30, 35, and they have the mentality of an 18 to 20-year-old, while the other person was growing up, changing, evolving, and that broke them up. And when have kids with one another, especially at a young age, then one of them, probably whoever takes care of the kids more is with them a lot more. The main parent, I would say, is kids change you, whether it's one kid or three kids or whatever. Kids pretty much force you to grow up and change 4 times faster. So it's more like, instead of slowly drifting apart, then it's more like, oh, I massively drifted apart quickly because the kids forced me to grow up 4 times faster. So then the other thing is if it's otherwise, if one person's staying the same and the other person's changing, the other thing would be you both got together early, you had a family early, got married early, and all that. But now you're going from 18 to say 35, and you're both slowly changing, and you're drifting apart, and you just don't have that connection, that romance, that love. You've gotten too comfortable. You haven't kept things, spiced up and all that kind of stuff. So there's a big problem with that. And usually that, creates, you start drifting apart, or one person's being authoritarian, the other person just following orders, being an obedient little bitch, servant slave, pretty much. That's, it's gonna, they're gonna conflict after conflict after conflict, and just fight day after day or every other day or whatever. That's the problem with not having a good equalness, fairness, egalitarian, true friendship, partnership type of relationship dynamic. I personally believe when it comes to that kind of stuff, when a relationship, where do you see the signs? How do you know? When it's time to break free and break up and all that. I would say when a relationship dynamic has become 70-30 negative, it's 70% negative over 30% positive or higher, 70-30, 80-20, 90-10, 95-5, and it's for a solid 12 to 18 month period. When it's almost all negative consistently, almost day in, day out for 12 to 18 months, and it's been 70% or higher negative, that relationship is toxic, it's horrible, it's nightmarish, and it's falling apart, and it's just gonna end up blowing up in your face if you don't take the steps to do something about it. Give a little bit of an example of what I'm talking about, especially with the never give up your free will and everything. And if you're not willing to fight for your rights and freedom and voice, then you don't have any right to say anything. And I have a great example of what I'm talking about. I'm a rideshare driver. I was Lyft for 2.5 years, and now 2 years Uber. And between Uber and Lyft, I've done close to 6,900 fares now. And I have a big pet peeve with about a dozen customers have done this over the past 4.5 years, and it drives me insane. And what it is pretty much, people get into my vehicle, and then as we're, doing the ride, there's something that I'm doing. It could be almost anything. Maybe I'm driving too fast for their liking. Maybe they don't like the type of music I'm playing. Maybe my music is too loud. Maybe they'd like me to change it to a certain station or have no music at all. Maybe I'm talking about something that they just don't like, a certain subject. When I was a timeshare owner, I sold it a year ago. Maybe I was telling him about my 5-star timeshare resorts. I've even gotten comments where he was trying to sell me a bug out bag, or he was trying to sell me a timeshare resort. I was like, no, I was not. I was just telling you about what YouTube videos and what subjects I have on my YouTube channel. So they're taking it the wrong way. They have some sort of problem with me. But the problem is they're not speaking up. They're not saying anything. They're not giving me the chance to resolve the problem at all. And it's not like, I'm not Charles Xavier. I'm not a psychic. I can't read your damn mind. So and if you don't actually use this, it's called a voice. Speak the hell up if you have a problem. Whatever it is, I bend over backwards for my customers. Like, hey, can you roll up the windows? It's too cold in here. Can you turn on the heater? Sure, no problem. Can you turn off the music or turn down the music or change it to a different station? I don't like this station or song. Sure, no problem. Hey, sir, I feel like you're driving a little too fast for my comfortability. Could you go a little slower or get in the slow lane? Sure, no problem. I will bend over backwards for my customers, but most of them, 99, 98, 99% of them do that. But those who don't speak up because they're nervous, they're scared, they just keep to themselves, whatever. And I get that there are people like that, but the problem is what do they do once the ride is over with? They file a complaint with either Lyft or Uber customer service, and then I hear about it. Like, oh, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Well, it's like the customer didn't speak up or say a goddamn word. How is that my fault? If you would have spoken up and used this, you know, spoke up, use your voice, speak your freedom and your thoughts and your mind, and ask a question, or just ask me, sir, can you do this, can you do that? And now if I turn you down for whatever reason and deny you fixing whatever your issue, discrepancy, or problem is with me, then you have every right to get out of my car and file a written complaint to Lyft or Uber customer service. But if you did not speak the hell up and let me know what the problem is and give me an opportunity to resolve the problem, then you have no right to go online and hide like a coward behind technology and file a complaint. What I think Uber and Lyft should do, their actual platforms, the business itself, they should like, okay, we take your complaint. Once you hit the submit button, another pop-up window comes up and asks, did you, bring this up to the Lyft or Uber driver? Yes or no. If they say no, Lyft and Uber still takes the concern and comment, but they don't let us, let the driver know about it, because it's obvious, hey, the customer didn't let the driver know to give them the opportunity to solve the issue or discrepancy or problem. So it's not the driver's fault. If they say, yes, what I'm complaining about, I brought it up to the driver and the driver didn't do anything to fix it, then they have every right to file a complaint and we should hear about it. So the Uber Lyft platform customer service should be the middleman. So that whole thing has the same thing to do with relationship dynamics. If because I had an old friend, not going to name any names or anything, but I had a female friend for over a decade, has been whining, complaining, venting pretty much to me and her other friends about her significant other and everything that he does that she doesn't like, and whines and bitches and complains and just in the ear and all that. And the problem is, okay, why are you whining, bitching, and complaining? Why are you telling us, unless you're planning on getting advice and guidance from us, our opinions? But if you're not willing to go back into that household, into that relationship, and do something to change it, then you have no right to whine, bitch, and complain continuously. So either, here are thoughts, feelings, opinions, and guidance from a couple different people. If you tell them, but then go do something about it. If you're not willing to stand up and fight for your rights and your voice and your freedoms and your feelings, and you are not willing to create change, then you have no right to whine, bitch, and complain. You should keep your mouth shut. That's my personal opinion on that. So, let's see. I went over that. One second. Never give your partners ultimatums. That's a good one. If it's a little tiny one and you can just like roll it off your shoulder kind of thing, I can understand that. Those come up every now and then. But medium, big, extreme ultimatums, if if your partner is trying to give you ultimatums of you do this or else, then that's pretty much blackmail is what that is. And you should not tolerate that. You should not be manipulated and controlled by somebody else because you're doing something that they don't like. I would tell them fucking wah. Go suck a thumb, cry your eyes out back. I do not care. Go cry to someone who cares. I would be like, oh, you don't like this and all that? Okay, you're trying to tell me what I can or cannot do. I'm a grown-ass man or woman. Let me go do that thing to prove you wrong, that I can do it. You just don't want me to. If you don't like it, there's the door. Don't let it hit you on the ass on the way out. And I've witnessed that. I've witnessed the whole thing where I was with a soldier buddy for one of my, I think it was my 25th birthday, I think it was, in Oahu, Hawaii. And I went up to one of the airfields in the northwest corner of Oahu to do skydiving for the very first time ever. And so another soldier buddy was with me, and then his girlfriend called as we were just beginning the training, and she's terrified of heights or whatever. So, she, like, hey, we got to go. Sorry, honey, bye. And then she came down there and to the or up there, I should say, to the airfield, and we were about to, go where we were walking to the plane to get on the plane, and pretty much this, the girlfriend's like, if you jump out of that plane, then when you hit the ground, I will no longer be here, and by the time you get home, I will be fully moved out. It's like, so she gave him the ultimatum of, don't go skydiving, otherwise I'm leaving you. That was just absolutely horrible. I can understand if you have that person has fear of flying. We're not asking her to get in the freaking plane and do skydiving, but he's a grown ass man, So to give him that ultimatum of you jump out of this airplane to go have fun with your soldier buddy, and if you do it, if you end up jumping out of that plane with him, then I'm leaving you. That's just absolutely terrible. I'd be like, oh, so you're telling me if I do this, you're going to be gone. Let me show you what I think of that. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to prove to you you have no power and no control over me, because nobody should have power or control over you, over your choices, your actions, your decisions. If you are 18 or over, you make your own damn choices and decisions. Nobody on this planet should have power over you. Don't give. It's like that whole old saying, you give an inch, they're going to take a mile. They know that they own your ass. So don't give them that satisfaction. I truly believe that when it comes to relationship dynamics, when it comes to marriage specifically, you should always get a prenup. Whether you're wealthy or not, it does not matter. It's, too many times nowadays, it's, if I got in a serious relationship with anybody, and then I came in with all this stuff that you see around me here in my apartment. All of this is mine. It doesn't belong to anybody else, or even what's in my current bank account right now. So the day of marriage, whatever was in my bank account, whatever my personal property was, does not matter. If I get a divorce, break up with this person down the line for whatever reason, whether it was my fault, her fault, both of our faults, it does not matter. Everything that was mine that's still there in that household should come back to me. I should still have my bank account, my money. We should each have our own bank accounts plus a joint one. Whatever she had and came into the relationship and into the marriage and the household with, she should leave with. And then all we really need to go through is figure out what did we purchase together, and who wants what, who can use what, who needs what, who needs a certain thing more, and all that kind of stuff. And then separate it, figure it out, and then you can do a break of 50-50, not 60-40, not 70-30, not 80-20, 90-10. That's too much, all because, oh, I want to take that person for everything they got. They hurt me, they cheated on me, blah blah blah. It's all kind of like our justice system. There should be no massive anger, emotions when it comes to just break up and do 50-50, and then whatever the joint account was, whatever you had in there, split that right down the middle and break up and just break off from each other, go 50-50. So everything that belongs to me that I still may have down the line in that relationship should come back to me, and same thing for her as well. She shouldn't be able to have what's mine, and I shouldn't be able to take what's hers. That should be made by law, but what I would suggest is get a prenup, get that in writing for any kind of marriage, does not matter. And then I would right around every year anniversary, not only you're celebrating your anniversary, but you update the prenup as well to get it updated, and then certified, get it what's the look notary, get it notarized is what I'm just thinking of. So that's a big thing in my opinion. Here's a big one. I see this way too often. Don't stay with a bad partner for the sake of the children. So yeah, and a lot of people I see do this of they, stay with a partner specifically because they have children. And I've even seen it on many episodes of Dr. Phil There was one woman recently for one of the newer episodes that I saw of, the intro of the storyline got done, and she pretty much told Dr. Phil when it was on the stage, I don't want to break up the family. I don't, want my kids to come from a broken home, and that's why I haven't left him, even though I don't like him anymore. And Dr. Phil's like, so you don't want your kids to come from a broken home. You'd rather them be trapped and stuck in one. And he made a very good point. You know, Too many people have this, they're just mentally and emotionally weak, I would say. And they have this mentality of, oh, he makes, 90%, 95%, 98, 99% of all the funds, of the income in this family household. And I haven't really been working, or I don't work much, or I don't make much, so I can't leave. Bull crap. It's called child support, Well, especially, for each kid until they turn 18. You're going to be getting some money, you know, on top of, so, I had a friend, I'm not going to say any names, but this female friend, who had the two girls, my old high school friend, and she's in a bad relationship. It reminds me way too much of my mom and stepdad's, and I hated my stepdad. He was a bully, an abuser, domestic violence, psychopath, control freak, old-fashioned, grandiose narcissist, and my best friend's significant other is almost just like my stepdad, and slight differences, but pretty much the same. Old school mentality. Her favorite movie is Titanic. And she just loves that movie. And for a long time, I was like, why? And then I thought about it, and I came up with a very interesting analogy. Why does she like Titanic so much? Because she resonates with Rose. From the beginning of the movie, before Rose met Jack, because Jack changed Rose and opened her up. Jack treated her like a true egalitarian equalness partner. But her significant other at the beginning of the movie, the rich, made all the money, makes all the rules his way or the highway, treats her like she's his obedient little bitch servant slave, was Cal. And then, so Cal was like my stepdad and is like my old high school friend's significant other, even though he doesn't want to admit it. Um, there's some good things about him. He's a hard worker. He's a damn good provider. Makes over $100,000 a year salary. You know, he is a good hunter. A good hunter gatherer type of person. A bit of a handyman, mechanics and construction, maybe even electronics. So he dabbles in different things, but he's definitely more of a he's the father, biological DNA sperm donor father, but not a real dad. My biological dad was a real dad. He unfortunately wasn't a very mature, responsible, disciplined parent, even though he was in the Air Force for like 13 years. He was like a big kid in a man's body who never really grew up mentally and emotionally. And but this other guy is the complete opposite. He's way too serious, way too strict, his way or the highway, and all that. He's a bully. He's an abuser in every way, shape, and form to a significant other. There's domestic violence and everything going on, and he's threatened. He's very, very jealous, and is threatened by like every male who's not her dad or grandfather, and everything. At one point in time, she attempted. At the very end of 2019, tried to leave him and go stay with another family member the next town over, and he even for a week he helped her move over to that family member's. And at one point even she told me that what he said was, oh, you're nothing, you're a nobody, you're not strong enough, you're not courageous enough, you're not outspoken enough, you're too mentally emotionally weak, you're not going to survive out on your own, you can't do this. I give it anywhere from a couple of days, a couple of weeks, to a couple of months before you pretty much come back to me and beg me to take you back and provide and take care of you and our children. And I'm like, seriously? He said that to you? And unfortunately, everything was going fine. But unfortunately, in the like 3 month period that she stayed away from him, She was just doing two part-time jobs, and she didn't fully break up with him to get child support and all that. She kind of had, one foot in his door, one foot in this other family member's door. She was straddling the fence, as my mom would say. She didn't want to fully break it up because she does not like conflict. She does not like fighting. She does not like pushing back. Even if she does, eventually she's going to cave in. And then just do whatever she has to do to live and survive in order to keep the peace, even though she's lying through her teeth to him. She told me at the beginning of 2020 at this other family member's house one day that because they had a bad argument, he was threatening suicide to her in texts and voicemails and over the phone 12 to 50 times a day. He left her alone for the first 7 to 10 days. After that, when she wasn't coming back, he started threatening suicide, gaslighting, and threatening like no tomorrow in order to get things how he wanted it, and all that. And it was just after weeks upon weeks, day after day of it happening, the stress and pressure was getting to her. And, when she got off the phone with him one day when I was there and staying quiet and acting like I wasn't there, but I was, and just listening and what he says and how he says it, and what he says about other people behind their back and all this other kind of stuff, hearing the threatening of the several different ways of suicide and all that, and it blew my mind. And so she hung up the phone. It's like, God, I wish he would just be a man of his word, stop threatening suicide, and just, do it already so I don't have to put up with it and hear it anymore. I knew she didn't mean it. She was just really frustrated and upset and stressed out. But then I asked her, hey, old friend, you've been with this guy for over a decade. You've had two little girls with this person. Are you really still in love with this person? Do you want to marry this person? Be engaged with this person? Do you want to have more kids? Do you want to grow old with this person? Or like I did with another old female friend from high school who I was head over heels in love with for like 15, 16 years. Near the very end, when this person in my life massively, drastically did a 180 and changed completely who they were, became a jungle gypsy hippie person, and all that, I learned that that person who I thought was going to be my one true love and I want to marry one day and all that, I learned a valuable life learning lesson. That person is not my one true love. That person was my life learning lesson love. I had to have them come into my life, experience certain things with them, learn certain things with them, learn and figure out what am I willing to put up with? What am I willing to not put up with? What am I willing to not tolerate? What do I want for myself when it comes to a significant other, a good significant other? So, I asked my high school friend, is this person your one true love or your life learning lesson love? And she immediately said, oh, definitely my life learning lesson love. And yet, after the full 3 months of being at this other family member's house, COVID-19 hit. And she lost both of our jobs when everything got shut down. And then she went back under his roof, under his power, under his control. In between, it was like 3 to 5 days, less than a week. And she was already back under, which means she proved his comment of, she can't do it on her own. She proved his comment completely right, you know. So it's like if you're not willing to stand up and fight for yourself, and I came up with at least three other major possibilities of what could she have done that would have worked out really, really well, instead of going back to him, and still staying separate, and then eventually calling it quits and starting to collect child support. I even, loaned her $200 to go talk to a lawyer to get, legal information if at some point in time she fully decided to leave him because they weren't married but had kids and everything. Um, so yeah, and then I come to find out a few months later after, she's back under this guy's roof that, he's like, I want you, she was getting, state unemployment money, and then stimulus money was coming in later on, and pretty much he forced her to give up all of her money, all unemployment money, all stimulus money to him, put it in his pocket, and if she's still working, she has to give up like 50 to 75% of her paychecks to this guy so he controls all the finances. Why? It's not the, oh, I make all the money. Why don't we just throw all the money in my pocket and I pay all the bills and take care of it? You don't have to worry about it. No, it's more of so you can't, ever save up emergency money off to the side, ever have enough money in your pocket at any given time, so you can't never ever leave again. He's gaslighting and controlling the absolute hell out of her, and she's allowing it to happen. So, and then that person, I guess, about a year ago, a big fight happened, and I'm, no longer in their lives. So, because I was trying to, help encourage her amongst other friends and family members of, do the right thing, stand up to your bullying, abusing, grandiose narcissist significant other and get the hell out of there. But she is afraid, and she's afraid of the real world, and with inflation and everything else going up, she's just very very scared to become an independent, self-sufficient parent. Because for too long she has been ordered around, and she's been an authoritarian, very authoritarian relationship dynamic where he's the parent and treats her like a child, and she has to be ordered around and told what she can or cannot do. So very bad relationship dynamic. Unfortunately, that's how it is. And eventually she's listened to him on kick everybody out of your life and only focus on our family, because he wants his family very isolated, all to himself. And she can't really have very very few friends, especially male friends, and she can't wear this, can't wear that. She tried to attempted to get into modeling at one point for like 5 weeks. Then he found out about it and like, you're not going to do it while you're under my roof and all that. I don't want the pictures, sexy pictures of you out there for guys to look at and fantasize and all that. I'm like, my God, she's a grown ass woman. She can do whatever the hell she wants. If you don't like it, tough shit. So pretty much no one deserves to be manipulated, controlled, threatened, abused, and all that. We have to realize after a while, and I definitely realized this eventually with my old high school friend that became that jungle gypsy hippie woman, that we at different times in our life with different choices that we make, we're going to make choices that other people around us, friends or family members or neighbors, they're not going to completely like, they're not going to understand, and they're not going to agree with at all. And they're going to get upset over it. And you kind of have to, tell them, I'm sorry you feel that way. I didn't mean to upset you. I didn't mean to disrespect you and all that. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I also spoke the truth. I spoke no filter, no bullshit truth. I'm not going to tiptoe around. I'm not going to walk on eggshells around you to watch what I say and how I say it, because this offends you, that offends you, this pisses you off, that pisses you off. Give a great example of what I'm talking about. I had my old high school friend who was became the jungle gypsy hippie woman and left the area. We ended our relationship in like June of 2017. She ended it. I didn't want to end it, and I still don't understand why it ended. But she was just becoming a completely different person. And one time we had a bit of a sit down, face to face, heart to heart talk for a while, and then she sees something on my wall, and it's a painting that I had created of her when she did some modeling at a younger age, several years before, and I got it from the internet and stuff, and I blew it up and had an Iraqi artist do a poster size painting of it. And at first when I had it and I came home with it, she loved it and she was very happy and she was flattered. But then several years, 7, 8, 9 years later, I can't, I'm in Colorado Springs, and we did a video chat, and she sees it still hanging on my wall, and because I spent $900 on it. What do you do? What's the basic function of artwork? Hang it up, show it off. That's what you do with artwork. That's the basic function. But then, so she sees it, like, what is that? Can you swing the phone around? I thought it was a lighting issue, but it wasn't. She was wanting to look up behind me to see the painting, and she flipped the hell out on me for like several minutes, yelling, screaming, crying, whining, screeching, how dare you, and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm like, what the hell is the freaking problem? You know, you were fine with it when I came home with it from Iraq, but then later on, you know, because it's like it's artwork until I choose to get rid of it, however I choose to get rid of it, and it's my property. I spend my money on it, and even our art teacher from high school pretty much taught us something that I deeply learned, but I guess other people didn't exactly pay attention, especially other women that were in her class. Of there's no such thing as evil, hateful, negative, spiteful, perverted artwork. I mean, there's European artwork out there with nude men and women and stuff, and there's devils and and then there's horses and there's landscapes and all that. Whether it's a person, place, or thing, no matter what size, no matter what material, I can understand getting fully pissed off if it was a blown up poster of one of her modeling pics. But no, it was a beautiful, very unique, gorgeous, of a strong woman, um, you know, uh, um, showing off what God gave her, what she should be proud of, art piece, and it was beautiful. Even another high school female friend of mine was like, if you want to get rid of any of your artwork, I want that one specifically. So it's like she should have been honored. She should have been flattered, not, pissed off and upset. It made no freaking sense whatsoever. So I'm going to do things, obviously, over time that other people don't like, understand, or agree with. And you kind of have to tell them to, get the hell over it and go cry a river out back. Go cry to someone who cares because I don't. So there is that. Um, the problem, with the whole, authoritarian relationship dynamic again, is pretty much whoever the authoritarian is. It can be the woman sometimes, and bullies the man. That's rare though. It's usually the other way around. It's pretty much, the authoritarian, whoever it is trying to control and mold the woman. Um, to their liking, and so manipulation and almost like brainwashing, pretty much, and that's a big problem with me. Should treat them more like equalness and fairness. Your true partner should be your best friend. Not someone that you're trying to, oh, this person's okay, but I want to make them better and I want to make them the way I want them to be. You got to believe in yourself. You really need to believe in yourself. And love yourself first before getting into a serious relationship. Don't do this thing where pretty much, man, woman again, where maybe the man only believes in himself 10%, 15, 20, 25%, so like a quarter of 100%. And like, oh, I'm going to go get in this relationship. This woman is going to fulfill me the other 75, 80, 90% that I'm missing. So together we're 100%. No, that's the wrong answer. That's what creates headaches and conflict and all that. Why? Because you're putting, whether 70%, 80%, 90%, you're putting all that stress, all that pressure onto your significant other to make you happy, to make you whole, to make you complete. You should feel 100% before, you both should feel 100%. Believe in yourself, love yourself, care about yourself before you get into a serious relationship with one another. That's a big problem and issue in my opinion. And I've seen that time and time again, and it's usually like my friend and her significant other. That's the problem. Each of them don't believe in each other. They kind of need each other. They're scared of being lonely, as Dr. Phil would say. They're scared and sort of desperate of being lonely, of being independent on their own, single, and becoming single parents. Um, Especially, probably the guy, because the woman in this relationship dynamic of my friend, the mother takes care of the kids like 98, 99% of the time, and then but the dad doesn't. I think it's because he's a toxic masculine man, and he has two daughters. They're females. They're girly. So he doesn't connect with them on a mental, emotional, intellectual level. as he would if they were boys. If they were one or both were his sons, then he would connect until they get older and they're more independent, self-sufficient. Then he'll try to be a bigger, more involved person. But while they're young and whiny and cryy and all that and screaming, he does everything in his power to, do other things, projects, activities, chores, and just get the hell out of there as much as possible. Like I said, he's more of a father. He's not a real dad, and there's a big difference. So, there's that. Double checking everything real quick. The communication. Um, honesty. I have a deep belief of the truth shall set you free. And pretty much, actions speak louder than words. Um, and I truly believe that. So I have a couple interesting quotes here that I'd like to read off. Um, Actions prove who someone is, words just prove who they want to be. So actions speak louder than words, basically. Fear is meant a thing about facing your enemy, facing your bully, and all that. I truly believe, and I kind of got a little bit of a thing from Star Trek Voyager, a certain episode that was based off of fear of a clown in a virtual world, kind of like the Matrix, that was holding some alien humanoids hostage in their virtual world pod and all that. And to me, you got to stand up, speak up, fight for your rights, fight for your voice, fight for your beliefs, fight for your feelings, fight for your freedom. And the only thing to fear is fear itself. Fear is meant to be faced, dealt with, overcome, and conquered. And that's something that, something similar, Captain Catherine Janeway of the captain of, Voyager said, fear is meant to be conquered. Well, I've adjusted it to fear is meant to be faced, dealt with, overcome, and conquered at some point in time in your life. So whatever your ultimate fear is, whatever your ultimate fight, whatever your ultimate battle, because we all have one, at some point in time, you're gonna have to face it. You're gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna have to, steer fear right in the eye and fucking deal with it. Tell the truth. Be open. Be honest. Be straightforward. No filter. No hiding. No fear at all. And once you do, pretty much you're free. You feel so much stress and pressure, like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders and neck and head and everything, and it's all been lifted off of you, and you feel so much lighter. I had to do the same thing when I was 15 years old, to stop and end the violence, the abuse, the domestic violence, the manipulation, the control, the bullying from my stepfather. He, committed one more physical harmful act against me, and I could not take it anymore. Eventually I was scared of him. He was like 6'3", 6'4", big muscles, big belly. He was huge on this scrawny little 15-year-old, so I was afraid of him for the longest time. But then eventually, it was like when he put his hands on me and choked me and put me against the wall, and bashed my head against the wall. And then finally, I was like, enough is enough. And I'm like, my hatred for him outweighed my fear finally. So I stood up to him. I put him in his place. I told him exactly what I truly think and feel, what I really want, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to do whatever I can to get you out of my family here in the near future. And I thought about multiple different things. Most of them meant harming or killing him, but I eventually chose to go to a high school counselor who I actually knew from, middle school in Toledo. And I told my high school counselor, and then I told the sheriff's department, then I told CPS, and then me and my younger brother got pulled out of our household and put into one foster home first for 3 weeks, which was amazing foster home. And then my mom separated, got her own place, was getting everything set up, and then my younger brother got to go back and live with her. But the accusations against my stepfather were way too serious when it came to me, so I had to go into a second foster home for about 9 or 10 months, it was an okay foster home for the second one. It was decent enough. Some other interesting quotes. Never fuck with someone who is not afraid of being alone. You will lose every single time. Some people don't want to be fixed because being broken gets them attention. Um, One interesting thing that Keanu Reeves made this quote. Someone told me the other day how they felt bad for single people because they are lonely all the time. I told him that's not true. I'm single and I don't feel lonely. I take myself out to eat. I buy myself clothes. I have great times by myself. Once you know how to take care of yourself, company becomes an option, not a necessity. And I truly believe that. I think a lot like him. It's probably because I've been single my entire adult life. So I've kind of had to. I do everything by myself. I go on adventures most of the time by myself, maybe with some, friends or soldier buddies every now and then. I do all my own chores. I do my own cooking. I pay all my own bills. I don't live beyond my means. I think ahead. I build things. I fix things. I create things. I try to get other people involved as much as humanly possible. Um, you know, but like you said, like he said, you know, if you take care of yourself, company becomes an option, not a necessity. So stop thinking that you desperately need yourself. Don't lower your standards to the absolute bottom in order to get in a relationship because you're lonely, because you don't feel whole and complete. If you are a partially empty, 50% empty, or very empty, like 90% empty, then whoever you're going to get involved with is going to, boss you around, bully you, control you, manipulate you. It's just going to, it's almost guaranteed, a situation, bad situation, that you're getting involved with someone else and you don't feel whole and complete and believe in yourself and love yourself, that it's almost going to definitely end in heartbreak and domestic violence. It's like 90% guaranteed. Another interesting quote was the more chances you give someone, the less respect they'll start to have for you. They will begin to ignore the standards that you set because they know another chance will always be given. They're not afraid of losing you because they know no matter what, you won't walk away. They get comfortable with your forgiveness. Um, Depending on Never get comfortable allowing someone to disrespect you. Love and believe in yourself. So you really, and if any of you are in any of these kinds of relationships, authoritarian, abuse, bullying, domestic violence, and especially if you have kids, at some point in time, you're going to have to do something about it. You're going to have to step up. You're going to have to stop rewarding bad behavior and just doing whatever you have to do or you think you have to do. Stop living in survival mode. Stop doing whatever you have to do in order to just keep the peace, because what are you really doing? Not only you're failing yourself. If you have kids, you're failing your kids. You're keeping all of yourself and your kids trapped in a loveless relationship, in a controlling relationship, in an abusive relationship, in a domestic violence relationship. You're not willing to stand up and fight for yourself and your kids. You're teaching your children what a obedient little bitch servant slave doormat looks like and how to be an excellent one. Then they're going to probably have parent issues, mommy or daddy issues. They're going to probably need anxiety and depression medication, counseling, psychologists. You're going to be wasting a lot of money on that because you weren't willing, as soon as humanly possible, to do the right thing and get yourself and your kids out of that abusive, bullying, controlling, manipulative, psychopathic, narcissistic, abusive relationship dynamic, and then that's on you as well. It's not just the person who is the bully, it's your fault too because you're not willing to step it up. Grow up. Grow a pair of balls, grow a backbone, grow a spine, grow a voice, and get the hell out of there and do the right thing. Where there is a will, There is a way. So, oh, but you have to do the homework. You have to ask the questions. You have to talk to people, maybe a lawyer and friends and family members, and do it quietly. You can't just think about, my friend again when she was getting ready to leave his household and go to another family member's the next town over. All she was doing and thinking about was cleaning and organizing every closet, every drawer of every room of the entire household to fine tune everything so then she can, more easily, because they had a lot of stuff, everything was stuffed full, um, a lot of clutter to go through, and then fine tune it so that way she can pack up the most important, the most best essentials. And she even had me help her to go over there and help pack things and clean and organize and what to donate to Goodwill or dumps, the dump, and then and all that, or pack up to take over to the other family member's house and all that. And all she was thinking is cleaning, organizing, packing, getting the hell out of there. Clean, organizing, packing, getting the hell out. That the only thing that was in her mind. It was a constant cycle. And I'm like, no, you got to think logistics. You got to think finances. There's more to it than that. You need to think of legal stuff. You need to get legal information and knowledge because knowledge is power. And she didn't think about that. But when me and a cousin friend of hers got together, we were sat down and ate a Mexican food meal, and we were telling her all this stuff. But now later on, it seems like she took a little bit of what we didn't do anything with it, or she twisted what we were telling her, because I've heard it from some of her other friends accusing me of stuff, and like, I didn't say that or tell her that. No, we were telling her this, not that. So that's a bit of a problem. But eventually, you're gonna have to stand up. You're gonna have to face the facts. Someone needs, like, sit down with them and go over, tell the factual truth, have evidence proof of some kind. And I wish I could like inject both of them in the relationship with truth serum or nanite technology that'll download all of their memories of what have she told me about him and all that kind of stuff, so I could fully show the full evidence proof of what is the factual truth and face reality and facts. The only thing to fear is fear itself. Fear is meant to be faced, dealt with, overcome, and conquered. With that, I've kind of, created my own rules, my own codes in certain ways when it comes to dealing with difficulty, dealing with challenges, dealing with hardship. For small problems, if you don't want to deal with it that day or the next day or a couple days, small problem within 2 weeks, face, deal with, and overcome and conquer and get it done and over with. Medium issues, I would say within no more than a month. Large issues, no more than between 100 and 120 days, no more than 4 months. Super extreme major issues, no more than 6 months. Within 6 months, everything should be sat down, figured out, faced, dealt with, and resolved. It really should, especially if you're, whoever you're having a problem with in their 30s or older. You guys need to grow up, act like mature, responsible adults. Sit down and just talk, and try not to yell and scream and throw things and all that. Act your freaking age. One thing I think about is, how does one become mentally and emotionally stronger over time? You have to face and deal with hardship, difficulties, challenges, and obstacles. You can't run and hide from them forever. You can't be a coward forever. You can't stick your head in the sand forever. Eventually, it's going to come to the surface. Everything comes to light eventually. So stop lying. Stop making shit up. Stop just telling people what they want to hear and showing them what they want to see. Stop being a yes man or a yes woman in order to just pretty much keep the peace, because that's not living. What is that? That's existing. That is not truly living. You're pretty much, anybody who does that, you're being a prisoner. You and your kids are prisoners of your own life, your own home, your own hometown, because you're not really living, because you're not setting boundaries. You're not, saying, this is what I will deal with, and this is what I will not deal with or tolerate from anybody, even my significant other. You're not willing to break free and get on your own, and it's very scary. I understand that, but and it's challenging and it's hard. The first 100 days will probably be the absolute hardest. After that, it gets easier and easier and easier. And co-parenting and all that is not easy either. So it's like, just look within yourself and really, be more independent, be more self-sufficient, Learn how to solve all your own problems. And if you do get in a serious relationship down the line, you know, really open up to each other, talk to each other, what you are willing to tolerate, not tolerate, and put up with. Where are the rules? Where are the boundaries for everybody? Don't try to manipulate and control each other. Don't give each other ultimatums. And if it's a little tiny one, fine. Um, and set the rules, set the boundaries, make them crystal clear. And if anybody has any problem with them, speak the hell up and try to figure out something else. Or maybe it's, here are my pet peeves, here are my boundaries, and you're crossing them. So maybe we need to break up. You need to be true to yourself, happy with yourself, in love with yourself. Put yourself first, unless, of course, you have kids. They come first, you come second, your significant other comes last. This whole thing where, we jump into a relationship, I got to put this person on a pedestal, they come first before me, and all that. That is the old way of thinking. It does not work. It causes problems. Eventually, there's headaches, there's arguments, there's issues, there's someone, feels, what's the word? Like, I did this for you. You should do this for me. There's apprehension. Why are you this way? I've done all this for you. That there's regrets. There's, accusations. That's what causes these fights, because there's not real truth, real communication, real no filter, honest to God. This is what I'm really thinking. This is what I'm really feeling. Honesty. And I wish I could inject every human being on the planet with nanites technology, or with truth serum, and force everybody to tell the damn truth, no matter what it is, big, medium, small, extreme, whatever the truth is, it's still the truth. And so if someone tells the truth to somebody else, you shouldn't feel bad about it. If they don't like it and they can't handle it, that's their problem. It's, when people get upset and angry and have issues and have problems and they're frustrated with you, and I'm like, well, that sounds like a personal problem. That's a problem within you, and here or in here. You need to figure that out. I'm willing to talk to you, but I'm not going to yell and scream and fight and all this other kind of stuff. I'm just going to get up and walk away. So that is pretty much, I think, everything that I have. Um, oh, here's one other thing. A big thing here. Other than the truth shall set you free, something I truly deeply believe as well, another personal belief, 98% of most people's problems, issues, stresses, concerns, anxieties, depression issues, all the negative things that is in my individual life, 98% of it is all my fault. It's not anybody else's. And the reason for that is because of my choices, my actions, my directions. If I had choice A, B, and C, and I chose B, and that was a bad choice, that's on me. It's not on anybody else. So 98% of all your problems, issues, stresses, anxieties, all the bad stuff that you're thinking of and coming up with, is because of your piss poor actions and choices and directions and mindset. The other 1% is the act of God or Mother Nature that you have no control over, so don't even try. The other 1%, the last 1%, is due to the people that you have in your life, that you choose to surround yourself with, whether it be blood related family members or friends or neighbors, because they can influence you on who are you, what do you believe, which direction are you choosing to go, good or bad. So it's still on you, but those people are influencing you as well. So you have to realize that, and you have to be okay with who you have in your life. So like, for example, you see all these people on Facebook or whatever, and they have, over 2,000 friends. And I'm like, yeah, right. How many are actually true good friends? I have like 69, 70 people. I have less than 100 people on Facebook. I get people who send me Facebook requests all the freaking time, especially early in the morning, especially, people who are supposedly these women, and yet they're far, far, far away. They're in multiple states away. They're on the other side of the country. They're in the candy corner of the country. I'm in Washington State. They're in Florida, or they're in Canada, or they're in Ghana, or whatever. And I also, like, why are you contacting me if you're so freaking far away and we don't know each other? If you're more than 2 to 3 hours away of a distance, so we can maybe get together and meet each other one day, then why the hell are you contacting me? I don't understand that at all. But then I also noticed some of the signs that of the person, and the profile is like brand new, and everything, and then so however many friends they actually have, like all of them are dark, 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 African American, or as pure Africans or Ghanaians or whatever, and I'm like, this person doesn't live in the States. This person's probably from like Liberia or Ghana or Nigeria or some shit, and trying to get me to talk to them. And eventually they'll try to make a connection and then try to get me to, like, oh, I'm hurting for this, I'm hurting for that, I'm having bad financial problems, I'm in trouble. And it's one of those relationship online scams where they try to take advantage of me and I send them money, but I'm not doing that. I did a few small times when I was younger, lost small amounts a couple of times, learned my lesson, will never do that again. So, you know, it just makes no sense. So, um, yeah, definitely you have to. There's positives and there's negatives to everything, every choice, every action, every direction. You also have to be willing to learn how to make difficult, hard, decisive decisions, and not worry about the negative after effects afterwards. Every job, every relationship, every career, every choice that you make has a certain level of positives and negatives. The question is, there's no such thing as 100% positive, 100% negative. It's either like 99% positive, 1% negative, vice versa, or somewhere in between. So the question is it more negative? Is it more positive? And can you have the mindset as well? Can you be a multitask problem solver in some form to, change your mindset mentality and look at something that is negative and try to either turn all of it into positive or a portion of it? So, and I have done that, like for a very simple example, me and my old high school friend with her significant other with the two little girls had a major fight last summer. And so 14 and a half years of our friendship down the tube in one day because of one piss poor action and choice, one mistake that was made by them and by me. And so, but then, so she's probably looking at it like, oh, it was the worst day in the world. It was 100% horrible and evil. I'm looking at it, well, it wasn't that bad. It was 50-50 to me. But then out of the 50% negative, I thought I changed my mindset in another specific topic of the situation and turned 25% of that 50% negative and turn the negative into a positive. So now to me of what happened is 75% positive, 25% negative. All because I changed my mindset on and looked at something from a different angle. So, you know, that's pretty much everything. I believe that I have gone over what I believe when it comes to how to improve your relationship dynamics with friends, family members, especially boyfriend, girlfriends, husband, wives, entire families, significant other. Get away from the old school authoritarian relationships, which are pretty much based off nothing but domestic violence, abuse, manipulation, control, narcissism, gaslighting, ultimatums. That's what after so long, if it doesn't start off that way after so long, authoritarian relationships become that and usually fall apart in anywhere from a year to about 12 years on average, in my opinion, from everything that I've observed from thousands of couples around the world. So think more about getting help if you are a bully, an abuser, a narcissist, and a authoritarian control freak. You have to have it your way or the highway. You can't be wrong. You need to go get some help and stop having so much stigma that counseling, both individually, psychologists or counselors or whatever, for your individual self or together with your significant other, is a bad thing, and it's a negative thing, and it's a unmanly thing, and it's not a masculine thing. And it's like, no, those who go get help, whether from like the church people or from actual professional psychologists, counselors, and all that, that shows growth, that shows improvement, that shows you're trying to better yourself and trying to change yourself. I had one of my friends' friends contact me yelling at me because of the fight that I had with my high school friend and her significant other last summer, and all that. You shouldn't involve yourself in their issues. And he was like, hey, yeah, you're right. But then that friend is accusing me of like, you really need some serious help. And I'm like, okay, maybe I do. I don't know on what exactly, but there's nothing wrong with getting counseling help. I would be all for it. If my friend, who I believe is in counseling, asked me to join her for 1 or 100 or 1,000 counseling sessions so we can talk and try to fix our relationship dynamic and get on the same page and have clarity and understanding and all that, I would volunteer for it in a heartbeat. I wouldn't have no problem with it, because counseling helps to change you and improve you, and you just trying to, constantly trying to better yourself, improve yourself. We all keep changing, trying to always stay in the same mindset, and stay the same way you are from 20s to 30s to 40s to 50s to 60s, and always keeping the exact same mindsets, same beliefs, never willing to grow, evolve, and change and adapt and overcome and improve. You're not growing. You're not bettering yourself. You're not improving, and counseling can help with that. So I think that's about all I have. I, you know, really hope you enjoyed this. One other thing I would say is, one of my biggest pet peeves about people in general is, people who say one thing and do another. It drives me nuts. I can't stand people. I don't know what happened to the good old days, to where people, agreed upon something, and pat on the back or handshake. It's a deal, and then they kept their damn promises, their deals, and their words. Nowadays, anybody who does that, it's more of hollowed out, empty words. You say you're gonna do something. Take your feelings, take your emotions, your worries, your nervousness, your concerns, your fear. Either bury them and lock them away, or throw them out the window. Because if you're making a promise or a business deal, you need to keep your word, whether you feel like it down the line of actually doing your part. Especially if the other party's already done their part, you need to do your part, whether you like it or not, feel like it or not, you're afraid or not. Keep your damn word, because what happens if you don't? No one can believe you. No one can trust you. No one can count on you. No one can rely on you. You've pretty much cried wolf. So that is something I also deeply believe in. Share your loved ones with others. Don't think you can keep them from the rest of the world. Especially kids and all that. Just having, just their parents or their neighbors or whatever in those people's lives. No, there's extended family, blood related or non-blood related, and your kids need all those different relationship dynamics in order to improve, in order to grow, in order to develop, to open themselves up and not keep them closed off, to not be, to be more of an extrovert than an introvert, to open themselves up, and to, and learn from, everybody who comes into your life has something to teach you. Um, so, especially when kids and they're growing and they're developing, everybody, unrelated aunts and uncles or actual blood relatives, unless those people are possibly dangerous to your kids or yourselves, don't keep your kids, don't isolate, don't imprison your family. They need, to have to build relationships and have many different relationships with all family members, neighbors, friends from school, and extended family members. That will help them to best grow and develop into a really, really good, well-rounded person. Um, when you if you do break up, if you break up with your significant others, you need to create boundaries with your exes, and make them crystal clear to move on. Um, my actual mom did this with my dad. Now, of course, when we were young, we are like, no, mom and dad, we don't want you to break up. Mom, don't date this other guy. Don't try to marry this other guy who became our stepdad because we hope that you'll get together back with dad and all that. All kids have that mentality, but we grew up and realized it was for the best of us that they broke up for different reasons. So the fact of the matter is that at one point in time, though, they're divorced. The divorce was finalized. So my mom started dating my the future stepdad, and then my dad finds out about it, and but it's like, but I miss you, and I want to come back and be a family again, and all this other kind of stuff. And my mom had to lay down boundaries, and dad, or my dad's name, move on. I'm already dating somebody else. Don't, if they start dating, you need to start dating. Move on and stop thinking that you're going to get back together with them. Leave them alone. Don't harass them. Don't threaten them. Don't, once you break up, you're broken up. You have no power or authority over them and their choices and their lives and who they date and where they go and what they wear and where they work and all that kind of stuff. Move the hell on. Another thing my mom did that was set a big boundary was the first time he ever had us on a weekend visiting him all on his own, because my mom was like the old fashioned mom of, she's the stay at home mom raising the kids, being more of the like 98, 99% parent, while my dad was, working and, off and doing this, that, and that, or deployed while he was in the Air Force and everything. And so when my dad had us that very first weekend, he lasted like several hours and then calls up my mom and like, I can't do this. I can't handle this. They're bouncing around all over the place. They're like freaking monkeys in a jungle. They're all over everything. I'm too exhausted, stressed out. Can I bring them back, or drop them off, or can you come get them, or whatever? It's like, no. Welcome to being a true parent and being stuck and raising your kids and instilling values and discipline into them. Put your foot down, put the fear of God in them in some form or another. Just don't, seriously hurt them. But no, you can't bring them back. This is your time with them. This is going to happen from now on. You're going to have one whole weekend with them. Every 40, you're going to have 48 hours every 2 weeks with them. And you need to do this because, I'm not going to just raise the kids all by myself or with their soon to be stepdad only, because you don't want to grow up and grow a pair of balls and grow a backbone and grow a spine and grow a voice and be an independent single parent. This is what you get for taking off, and for us getting a divorce. This is a part of it. It sucks. It's hard. Suck it up and deal with it. Face it. Because otherwise you'll never get to see your kids. She told him, if you bring them back before the specific time, 48 hours later, then you will never ever see your kids again until they're 18. So she had to put the boundaries down and be realistic for him to take it seriously. Um, so that's pretty much everything. Um, you know, uh, I would say just, stop with the old fashioned relationship dynamics. We're in the 21st century. We need to start acting like it. I would hope to aspire that, my relationship with anybody in the future who, gives me a shot in the time of day is more like either Rose and Jack from the Titanic movie. They inspire each other. They truly live. They make each other feel 200% together, and all that. And they enhance each other. And or if not them, then I would even say like Aragon and I forget her name. I'm sorry, from Lord of the Rings, the woman who plays Liv Tyler, her character from Lord of the Rings. So like those two different coupled relationship dynamics, and how beautiful and strong and real and open and loving and caring and equal they are, is my idea of a true healthy relationship dynamic. So, get away from authoritarian old school and get more towards egalitarian equalness and fairness, and face your fears, face your worries, stand up and fight for yourself and your children if you have them. Hold your ground, even if he beats the living hell out of you, you still do the right thing. You know, freedom is never truly free. You have to fight for it. You have to sacrifice. You have to give sweat, blood, and tears, and sacrifice, even if it means your life, to do the right thing. Because you only have one life to live. Eventually, all of our lives are very short on this earth. So I want to live my fullest life. I want to find the right person that I'm not willing to lower my standards to just to end up in a relationship. I'd rather be single, and if things are less stressful and easier, and I can choose for myself and no one's choosing for me. I don't need anybody's permission. I just go do what I want to do, just like, the quote from Keanu Reeves, that, once you learn how to take care of yourself, company becomes an option and not a necessity. Hopefully I find the right person one day who gives me the time of day, who I really click with, and who gets me and understands me and accepts me, and that I feel comfortable with. I feel like, they're my best friend, and I love them, and they just make me better. That's the type of relationship dynamic that I want to have, and I will wait patiently and be disciplined. I get lonely sometimes. It sucks, but especially nowadays, I used to be out and about doing amazing thrill-seeking, adventurous, and road travel trips and all that. I haven't been doing it as much over the past couple of years, not only because I've been getting more busy and saving on money and all that, but it's also because I don't really have any significant other or super duper close friends who are near me, who one or two here and there I do some things with every now and then, but people who want to go out with me and go to, like, either when I had timeshare resorts, go to my timeshare resorts, or go hiking, go camping with bug out bags, book other cabins, go on a road trip, go to the circus, go to the zoo, go to aquariums, go on a road trip, go to national parks, go bungee jumping or skydiving or whitewater rafting or zip lining or four wheeling or glider rides or paragliding or whatever. I'm tired of doing so many amazing things in this world completely by myself, and I still do it every now and then, but I definitely don't do it as much. All because I want to find somebody, either super close friends or family members or significant other, or all of them, to go do these amazing things. So, but I'm not willing to lower my standards. I believe in myself. I love myself. I trust myself. I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for. I have confidence in myself. That's the key. Believing and loving yourself and having confidence, on top of staying away from drugs and alcohol, which, especially while you're in a relationship, that just makes it even worse. And then money problems on top of that, that causes problems and relationship issues as well. So that's just pretty much about everything. I know this video is kind of long. I apologize. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. I have a total of about 26 different videos covering 16 different category subjects on finances, utility bill life hacks, home preparedness and readiness, vehicle preparedness and readiness. I build high quality 24, 48, 72 hour bags for myself, friends, family members, and other people. They're very personalized to the person, their wants, their needs, their environment, altitude, and climate, using 21st century multifunctional, good quality, durable gear to prepare for emergency, natural disasters, and dual purpose of recreational hiking and camping usage, which allows you to field test your gear, what you have, and how to use it properly. Vehicle preparedness, ride share advice video, basic vehicle maintenance care services video, scammer warning sign advice video, personal financial advice video, how to fine-tune your personal finances like a dozen different ways and make extra money off to the side from a full-time job several different ways, kind of like Uber and Lyft and plasma donation. I got a plasma donation step-by-step 101 video, basic maintenance care services video, scammer warning sign advice video, how to be a better gift giver to the people most important and closest to you, using the 5 love languages and pretty much the do's and don'ts of being a great gift giver. All of that is in all these variety of videos. An autobiography video, which I just updated, of my entire life, because a lot of people are like, "Who are you? How do you know all this stuff?" Watch my entire autobiography video, and you'll see and learn how I learned all this and did all this stuff. Even a sort of a slightly like a little different autobiography, major experiences and life learning lessons from those experiences video. So that's pretty much everything that I have. Hit the like and subscribe button if you like this video, and you guys have a good summer. Stay safe and have fun and start treating each other better. All right. Take care. All right. Bye.